Everybody wants alternative.
Yo, welcome back to Alternative Milk, the milkiest podcast this side the Nile. Which Nile? I guess there's only one Nile. On the west side of the Nile. Best podcast on the west side of the Nile, Western Hemisphere. Something like that. But hey, this is Alternative Milk. This is your host, JD. And you know what? Y'all been here a while. Make sure y'all still go over to the Instagram if you haven't already. Click that follow button, alternativemilkpod. You swing over to Twitter, @alternativemilk, no second I. Don't know how to spell it? Go to the description, figure out from there, and go to the email. Send me something like to say hey, and I want to wave and say hey to you, and all that cool stuff. Cool, yeah. And like the title of this video, I'm continuing my series of My Hero Academia, and I'm on the next episode, episode 8 of my rewatch series. And you know, basically, just a quick recap from last episode. We trying to be the number one hero, y'all. And it starts with winning school events. It was kind of like a pop quiz. It had a scenario where two heroes versus two potential hero students being the heroes and two potential hero students being the villains, and everybody's learning. This is experience. It's school. You got to start somewhere in school. And now we're going to the next part with the episode title, Bakugo Start Line. After the combat training lesson, the students and All Might reflect on their matches and they think about their next steps. We are trying to learn here. What are the next steps in being a hero? And basically, they gotta wheel our boy Izuku out of there. He got his ass whooped. And they got Ochaka. She's over there throwing up. And the other students from class 1A comment like, wow, even though they won, the heroes won the activity, but they're the ones who took the most injuries. Like Ochaka's throwing up. Izuku, he broke his arm again from using his quirk, and he took so much damage from Bakugou in defending himself. That is, I mean, I don't want to say it's crazy, but it's like, it's one of those things that can happen in real life. Like, yeah, we won in terms of our goal was accomplished, but physical damage, like, oh, the heroes got decimated in a real confrontation. Like, literally, Izuku was a sitting duck. Like, he wouldn't have been able to defend himself. He could have been taken. I mean, at worst, the villain could have honestly done anything with him at that point. Lucky this is just practice, but I mean, that's something he has to consider. Like, he has to get better at being able to defend himself on a second strike. Like, he right now is all for nothing. He goes full in, but his quirk just blows everything away. So hopefully he gets better on that. Ochaka just needs to get better control so she doesn't every time she tries to move massive items and use her zero gravity, she's not just throwing up on herself. But they got something going. I believe in our people. Bakugo, he just stunned because I understand that. Because I'm gonna do a quick overview of his plot in this episode, or everything happening to him, because I feel like that's the most important part. When he saw the damage that I want to call him his rival, he doesn't consider him a rival, but what Izuku, Deku / main boy does to the ceiling above him, he's like, holy shit. Because he knows, like, he did damage to him. Like, he did his big right hook, hit him on the left side of Izuku's body. And I mean, it caused damage to his arm. He had to get treatment for that damage to his arm. But if our main boy Izuku would have landed his hit, instead of choosing, he chose to win the assignment, which could have, in a real life scenario, could save lives, than to, he would have won. He would have won that fight. He would have chose to punch him. But I mean, he did the sensible thing. Like, hey, we came here for a mission. He did everything he could to succeed in not letting, in not letting the villains able just to run out the time. Because I mean, Bakugo was definitely not about that run out the time life. He was going to go win the fight. In doing so, he pretty much almost ignored everything in protecting his stronghold and protecting the fake weapon they had. And when when they have a class meetup, of course, Izuku has to go to the infirmary because he took so much damage. All Might declares Tenya the winner, and he asks the class what anybody thinks. Well, he declared Tenya the MVP, and then Momo Yorozu, I can never pronounce the name when it's time for me to say it, but old Momo, she's like, yeah, Tenya embraced what it meant to be a villain. He was constantly thinking and acting on his feet. He chose to defend the weapon they were trying to defend, and he did a great job in terms of everybody else. Like Izuku, he had a pretty cool plan, but at the end of the day, he wasn't able to move anymore, and he got consumed in the fight just with Bakugo just a little bit. And in terms of Ochaka, like her plan was a little reckless for the precision of her, like taking control of that pillar once the ground was destroyed and hitting those rocks in Tenya's direction. Like it could have easily hit the weapon, and that causes a whole another issue. And then you got Bakugo just going off the rails and becoming super. I want to beat the strongest, so everybody knows their place. And that's the problem with Bakugo right now. Even All Might recognizes it. Like, this man has a big sense of pride, and somebody that he looked down upon for all these years since their childhood has reached a stage where he's able to fight on equal footing. And then Bakugo has to sit there and watch the other students perform. And I like that it introduces some of the other students and it's slowly telling us what their quirks are. They're giving their names for people that didn't read the manga, or that this is their first time watching the series. Hopefully it's your second time if you're watching the rewatch series. But shit, everybody can watch. But you're learning what their powers are. It has President Mike's over voice, like saying, hey, this person, this is their power. And they have we get introduced to our boy Shoto Todoroki in his 2v2 fight. I think he's going against Big Tail Man and Invisible Girl. I know that's not their names, but that'd be their names for when I talk. They'd be all right. Or Ojiro and Hagakure. But fuck it. Tailman and Invisible Girl. Shit, that's better. And then Todoroki, he got his power. His little icy hot boy. He got ice and flames. And he's paired up with Shoji with Tenta arms. He got like all these bunches of arms, and he can make different appendages out of them. It's pretty cool ability. I don't know if it's A tier, but it's good for search and rescue. And he's able to utilize in this, giving exact coordinates to where Tailman and Invisible Girl are in the building. So when it's their turn to go fight, he simply goes in there and uses his ice to freeze them in the entire building. I mean, it's really OP. It's really got our boy Bakugo. Like, he's super stunned. He's like, I mean, if these guys are this good, what chances do I have? And that's a real legit point. It's showing him that I know his whole life he's been told, like, he's this, he's that. You are going to be the best hero in the world. Your quirk is so amazing and so flashy until you meet somebody that is equal, if not better. And later in the episode, he admits that if he went against Todoroki right now, if Todoroki's in his full strength, he couldn't beat him in a fight. And hopefully that's using for motivation for him later on, so he can grow. I mean, this is Bakugo's start line. He's seen these other people using their amazing quirks, and he's like, wow, I need to do a lot better. Even when I'm pretty sure he's a little amazed when he sees Tokiyami. I mean, that's a cool quirk. What's that quirk called? I know this. Dark Shadow. I love fucking Dark Shadow. I feel like that's one of the best quirks out there. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I think they mentioned him by name later in the episode when after Deku leaves the infirmary, but then it has after Deku leaves the infirmary, he tells Bakugo, he kind of spills the beans. He's like, "Hey man, I'm not better than you. I got this quirk from somebody. It was inherited just recently. I got a lot to learn, and then maybe we can fight and shit." Bakugo's like, "I don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro." Because still in this world, they don't understand that how all for one, well, one for all works. So he's definitely confused. He thinks this man is just spouting shit, but where he thought Bakugo was going to be like mentally weak in this moment, like, no, I know what it means to be a hero. I don't need your help. I'm going to do it. I'm going to grow from this moment. And All Might try to comfort him, but he's like, bro, I don't need that fucking shit. I see what I need to improve on. That's the cool thing about Bakugo. He's seeing what he needs to improve on, and he's willing to make the necessary changes. Like, he's completely ready. And I mean, that's the whole basis of the episode, Bakugo's start line. Like, this is where he realizes, I have to be able to bring this to another level. I have to. He agrees with Yarozo's assessment of how he utilized his quirk throughout the fight. There were some good things, but when you're blowing up half the building, when you're supposed to be protecting it, he's like, wow, that's right. And I can't beat Icy Hot Boy Todoroki right now. I'm going to be a better hero. He said he's going to whoop Deku's ass. So, I mean, it all works out, but it's cool that, because this is all adapted just from one chapter of the manga. So I feel like this episode was probably just a tad bit stretched. A lot of loose points in it. Maybe a couple of these episodes could have been condensed down, combine last week's and this week's. But it's still good. It's still good. Yeah, it's still good. And I mean, it's going to be even better when we get to that last arc of this series, which I guess it kind of kicks off in the next episode. So that's going to be great. Hey, we get to see our boys finally starting to understand, I need to get better. And so it's going to make for a good rivalry for our main boy Deku. And some other highlights. They had some good scenes just showing everybody a couple of the different battles and how their personality traits and all that messiness. Definitely for our boy. Our little ball boy. I can't remember his name. What's his name? Mina. That man a fucking perv. But then after the episode, it had a little scene with he's adjacent to our main protagonist, and Tomura Shigaraki. And he's with, I don't think, they didn't name him yet, but they got Tomura Shigaraki, they got Kurogiri, and they have a Nomo, who it becomes real. This is, I mean, in the next 2 episodes, this is going to be their arc where they're introduced as some legit villains talking. I think this is going to be the first time that we actually have things from the villains' kind of perspective, a little bit of their perspective. So that is cool, all cool, Rooney. But that's in the next episode. But I think that about wraps up this episode. We got to learn and see more about the other kids from the Class 1A. And the more it goes on, we're going to see their powers expounded upon and how they use them in combat and in their everyday lives and how they affect them. So that's going to be fun and cool. And it was cool having y'all here while I rambled on about episode 8 of My Hero Academia. So if you haven't yet, go to those social media places. Make sure y'all follow. If you're listening to this podcast and it gives you the option to rate us 5 or 10 stars, give us all those stars. Do it twice. Make it nice. But I appreciate y'all for listening, and y'all go have a safe morning, evening, and night.